Okay. Hey guys, today we're going to be watching Police Chase Honda Minivan in Los Angeles. Let's listen now.
Still northbound 110 coming up to the downtown LA area. Again, LAPD in pursuit of a possible DUI driver. It's unclear how many people may be in the vehicle, but this is a minivan. It could sit, I believe these sit as many as 6 or 7 people possibly. So this is a situation where there could be a lot of people in this car, and we'll find out when this does come to an end. But again, it is a Honda minivan, a possible DUI driver. I'm actually listening to this pursuit on the LAPD Central Traffic Division, a pursuit that started roughly around this area, made its way southbound on the 110 freeway, and he exited at Slauson. He worked the surface streets in the South LA area for a little bit before getting back on the northbound 110 freeway where we find ourselves now. The light that you see flickering there is going to be the LAPD airship overhead, and it looks like we are transitioning northbound 101. So if you can picture a map, we are going through the downtown LA area. We're just on the north side of it now. That's going to be the 4-level interchange where the 110 and the 101 come together. You see those LAPD units close behind. I counted as many as 4 earlier, but I am only seeing 2 at this point. Now, that could be because LAPD had actually gone into tracking mode. That is where all of the units back off and it's airship only because the driver is driving so recklessly. They want him or her to think that they are no longer being pursued, and hopefully that'll get them to slow their speed down. But unfortunately, it was not working, and they decided to re-engage. So yet again, we have the units behind the vehicle. Oh, this is going to be close right here. Oh, gosh, that was close with that vehicle there. The driver had to get hard on the brakes in order to stop in time before colliding with that vehicle. This car still blacked out. So if you can imagine, you're driving on the 101 freeway, minding your own business, and this vehicle comes right up to your tail, completely blacked out, and almost hits you. It's obviously a very scary situation, and the LAPD wants to make sure that nobody gets hurt in this situation. Again, a pursuit of a DUI driver involving the Los Angeles Police Department. Now 101 at Alvarado, that puts us close to the Echo Park area, going northbound. So if the driver continues north on the 101, it'll take him through the Cahuenga Pass, and eventually we will end up in the San Fernando Valley. Currently, the driver is going at about 75 miles an hour, and in terms of how many people may be inside, again, this is a minivan. It sits easily 6 or 7 people, so in terms of how many people may be inside, that is still unclear to us and to the LAPD at this time. I almost feel like I do see people sitting in that middle row, though, but it's difficult to tell because those windows are darkly tinted and this vehicle is blacked out here on the northbound 101 at Silver Lake. Weaving in and out of traffic. So dangerous. Now back in the number 1 lane. If you've never driven on this stretch of the 101 freeway, the lanes are pretty narrow, and there is no carpool lane. The carpool lane will start once you get to the interchange with the 170 freeway in the San Fernando Valley. And there's really not much of a shoulder through this stretch of the freeway either. Now let's talk about tactics. Have they mentioned a spike strip? No. And that is because he really has no pattern to the way he's been driving. He really hasn't been driving in circles or driving just on one specific freeway or road, so that the LAPD can get up ahead of him and throw a spike strip up ahead to see if he'll run over that, and then that will slowly start to deflate the tires. So at this point, that's not part of the equation. Pit maneuver, it's also not going to happen at this point. The speeds are just too high. The vehicle would have to be going about 35 miles or less in order for pit maneuver to be effective. model Honda Odyssey is how the vehicle is described over the police scanner. And you may be exiting here. Losing control there for a moment, regaining it. And he's exiting, but he might be getting right back on. He's at Sunset and the 101 freeway. Westbound Sunset, and making another turn there. Sure enough, getting right back on the freeway. Now southbound 101, going back the way we came. Southbound 101 from Sunset. And now I'm hearing CHP. So now the LAPD is notifying CHP since the vehicle seems to favor the freeway. They're going to notify the California Highway Patrol to see if they want to take over this pursuit since it is now in their jurisdiction since it is on the freeway. So those calls are being made to the California Highway Patrol Central Division to see if they will get behind this older model Honda Odyssey, believed to be driven by a DUI driver. So the LAPD is going to go into tracking mode yet again until he goes to the downtown LA area, which means that the units are going to back off, and we're just going to let the airship follow from above. But once he gets to the downtown LA area, because of all the buildings, it's going to be better if the ground units are behind the car. So that's what the thought process behind this one is, as the driver continues here southbound 101 through Vermont. Again, older model Honda Odyssey, southbound 101 through Silver Lake, about 75, 80 miles an hour, blacked out. But you see him there hitting the brakes. Let's see if there's perhaps an obstacle up ahead. Sure enough, there is. There's some traffic up ahead, so that's why he hit the brakes there. Otherwise, it's been pretty much smooth sailing. There really hasn't been too much in the way of traffic. Once again, pushing on the brakes. Southbound 101 through Benton Way. Let's see if he's going to exit. No, he just moved over to get around some slower moving traffic and is continuing southbound 101, heading back towards the 110 freeway, which is where this all began. So it'll be interesting to see if he does get back on that southbound 110. But for now, southbound 101 through Alvarado with some traffic coming up. And so for that reason, he is going to exit. He doesn't want to face some of that traffic coming up there on the 101 freeway. So he's exiting southbound on Union. And continuing through southbound. Union through Temple. An older model Honda Odyssey. I believe it's gray in color. Now that I'm able to take a closer look at it there, it looks to be about a silver or gray older model Honda Odyssey with an unknown number of people inside. And in terms of gender, the gender of the driver is also unknown to us at this time as he or she makes an eastbound turn onto 1st Street. And I'm hearing that pit authorized units are allowed to move in now. So the units of the LAPD that are in the area and feel comfortable doing a pit maneuver on this vehicle, they now have permission to do so since he has slowed down his speed significantly. But of course, they needed to be at the exact, at the exact speeds that they need in order to perform that pit. So he's right under those trees there. Oh, right here. Oh, right there. Just collided with that vehicle, but he's continuing. That other vehicle got the worst of it, though, and the driver of the pursuit continuing on here, southbound on Beaudry. We hope that person is okay in that white vehicle that he just collided with on Beaudry. I know that the police and fire department will be headed to that intersection to make sure that that person is okay. But the driver of the pursuit coming out unscathed after that collision. Beaudrian's second was where that collision took place, and you see the LAPD unit moving in. This is going to be a perfect place to pit. They'll be just on the backside of this building, and it looks like they will not be attempting the pit there. They lost their opportunity, but it doesn't mean that they can't try again. When they make these turns, that's actually a perfect time to try to do it. So we can anticipate seeing a pit maneuver soon. It's always tough when pursuits come through the downtown LA area with all the buildings, so we're having to dodge buildings here. So pardon us as we lose the vehicle temporarily behind some of these buildings, but as soon as it comes back into frame, we will have that picture for you. And there it is, right behind that building. It just stopped. My pilot, David Viskovich, doing a great job of maneuvering News Chopper 4 Bravo around. And you see the driver now out of the vehicle. I do see that the driver has his hands on his head, so that he does appear to be complying. And we're hearing that there may be as many as 5 people in the vehicle. So this will be a situation where they will take the driver into custody first and then make call-outs for the additional people in the car. This, again, coming to an end here in the downtown LA area through the buildings, which is why we weren't able to see him come to that stop, but he came to that stop on his own volition, and now the driver of the vehicle sidestepping away from the car. We're just north of the U.S. Bank building, the tallest, or what was once the tallest building in downtown LA before the Wilshire Grand came into play. So that's exactly where we're at right now, just off of Grand. You see the driver there spreading his hands open, and when the officers feel comfortable, they may approach or they may have him get up and walk back towards them. But this is a situation where they have multiple people in the car, so they may let the driver stay there while they attempt to take the other people into custody. And I believe that it's going to be the latter that they're going to do, because I do see that the passenger side is opening, and I see a woman stepping out of the vehicle. She is also complying, walking back towards the officers. Now, some people might question, why is she going to be detained if she was not driving? Well, the officers need to make sure that she was not a willing participant in this pursuit. Again, this was a pursuit that started because officers thought the driver of the vehicle was under the influence, and he is the one that led them on this chase. But they will have to take everyone who is in this minivan under their care, under their custody, and do thorough interviewing of those individuals to figure out who was a willing participant in this pursuit. Again, in the downtown LA area, right next to the U.S. Bank building, is where it is coming to an end, and additional call-outs are being made to the vehicle to see if anybody else is inside. And pardon our shot here, it will be a little steep because we are shooting between buildings. So it's unfortunately something we have to do in this case because of all of the buildings here in the downtown LA area. But you see the vehicle there on the left, the officers on the right with their guns drawn and continuing to make call-outs to the vehicle. Sometimes in these types of situations, it could be that there could be minors in the vehicle and they just don't understand that they need to come out. In this case, though, the next person to come out does appear to be an adult, a male adult, and he is now walking in the direction of the officers. They are instructing him exactly what way they want him to go.
Thanks for watching. We'll leave you tonight.
And he will likely sidestep over to the left of the vehicle as well.
Later on tonight.
Next to the driver and the passenger.
Bam. leave you
And
today
once he's
with the
down on
police
the ground, the additional
afternoon
call-outs
this
will
morning
continue
with
for
a nice
everybody else
video.
in the vehicle.
Thanks for watching.
Again,
Stay
we
away
had
from
heard that as many as 5
Bye,
people
guys.
were in the vehicle, so there's still a possibility that 2 more people are inside. And there's another person coming out.
Police chase. Police chase.
And this situation, of course, is still not over. There's still additional people in the car. But in terms of the vehicle that the driver collided with earlier, I am hearing that there are officers now with that car, as well as the LA City Fire Department. And they're going to look at the individuals in the vehicle, make sure that everyone is okay. At this point, we have not heard how they are doing. But here is another young man coming out of the car. And he will also be instructed to walk over to the driver's side of the vehicle, next to the driver of the car, as well as the 2 passengers. And there should be 1 more person in the car if the original report from the LAPD is correct, that there were 5 people in the vehicle. So far, 3 males and 1 woman. And there's another person there. That would be person number 5. Appears to be another woman.
I will be up love. Hey, please.
When you think about it, this was really so reckless of that driver. Not only was he endangering his own life and the lives of everybody else on the highway, but he also had all of these individuals in the vehicle with him, endangering their lives as well as he made his way on the freeway, sometimes as high as 90 miles an hour, and then of course was involved in that collision once he exited onto surface streets at Beaudry. Now, this woman is being walked back towards the officers. She will be taken into custody. So they're placing the handcuffs on her there. I'm going to move back to the vehicle, though. I just want to make sure that 5 was actually the correct number and there really isn't anybody else inside. The officers will make those additional call-outs and see if anybody else comes out. If they don't, and then there you go. Here's another person. Just as I said that, here's another, what appears to be another... It's tough to tell. I'm trying to gauge if it's a man or a woman. I believe it's going to be another young man. Could possibly be a woman. It's difficult to tell from our vantage point. But that would make it person number 6. And officers will continue to make call-outs. And once they don't get a response from anybody else, then they will move towards the vehicle and they will check the trunk and the rest of the car to make sure that nobody else is hiding inside of the vehicle. And there's another person coming out. So person number 7. One of the first things I said when we realized it was a minivan was that it could possibly have as many as 6 or 7 people in the car. And officers thought there were 5. Now we know there were at least 7 if no one else comes out of the vehicle. So here's another man coming out of the car. That makes what I gauge to be 5 men and 2 women so far. And the call-outs continue to the car. Okay. So now they've got no response. The team of officers will approach and they're going to clear the vehicle and make sure that 7 individuals were all that were in there and that nobody else is hiding inside, or perhaps just to make sure that there's no children inside the car who wouldn't have known to come out. So they'll check everything, and usually we'll see them make the number 4 with their hand, indicating the police code of code 4, which means that the situation is over, everyone is in custody, and as we see them back away from the vehicle, that's going to do it on this one. Once again, thank you very much for joining us from News Chopper 4 Bravo. I'm Eliana Marino, along with my pilot David Viskovich. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.